I think what really attracted me to BNI was the giver's gain philosophy, and I've had to take it, what I talk to my members about a lot is that giver's gain is, if we had to put it in business terms, is really about leverage. When we look at a big corporation, they have a lot of people that work for them. As a small business owner, we have all this pressure on us, and the reality is what we all have evenly, if a big corporation or not, is the amount of time that we have in a week. I can go out and try and make 30 sales calls in a week. I can go to try different companies, call people, stop around, knock on people's doors. That takes a lot of time. Or I can go to one meeting a week with 30 or more people in it, and in that meeting, that's great leverage. I use an hour and a half to tell my story every week, educate and train people on who I am, what I do, what a great referral is for me, and they go out and they can bring me back business, and I do the same for them. That's what Giver's Gain is about. It's about helping other people out, but it's also smart business. It's about leveraging yourself and your time to help other people. My first BNI meeting it took me 6 months to get there. I had a lady that I was good friends with, and she had invited me to the BNI chapter, and I didn't know what BNI was, never heard of it. It took 6 months of her asking me to go over and over, so finally I said, okay, I'd go. But a lot of times I'll talk to people and I'll say, when people come to BNI you can say that they're at a neutral level. They know nothing about BNI. So on a scale from 1 to 10, they're actually at 0 because they don't know anything about it yet. Well, the reality is I went to that meeting. It was extremely well run. By the end of that meeting, I made the decision to become a member, put in my application, my check, and I became a member. It was because of the structure and how professionally run it was that it took me from being negative all the way to above the 10 of being positive to actually make me put in an application and join. So it was pretty amazing. I got one big referral as a member, which was a consulting project. And what was very interesting is there was a bank was merging. Okay, there was different bank mergers going on at that time, and I was a trainer. I did training and consulting, and so somebody in the group had said, hey, I know this guy. They referred me into the bank for me to do training with that bank, merger training it was called. So I went in, should have been a half-decent project. Well, I also had 4 other trainers that worked for my company. So I ended up taking that, when I talked to the bank, ended up convincing them to hire not just me, but my 4 other people who did training for me. So that job that probably should have ended up being maybe a $25,000, $30,000 job ended up being worth over $350,000 for me in the following 18 months because they hired me, 4 of my people, and we worked there for 18 months. So it ended up being this incredible referral that the person who gave it to me never thought it would be, and I thought it never would be, but you never know what you can do and where it can go. So that paid for my membership for probably the next 3 lifetimes for me. I was in that chapter for maybe 6 or 8 months, and then I wanted to start my own chapter where my business was in Scarsdale. So I ended up going to Scarsdale, started a chapter, became the president, grew that chapter. It was about between 35 and 40 people at that time, which then was a really big chapter. I ended up being the president there for about 18 months. But during that time frame, I was getting married, and we moved about an hour north. And when I moved north, I said, I want to bring BNI up here. There was no BNI up there, so we kind of created this little region for me. I ended up first becoming a director in the region I was at, moved up, and then became the executive director in the region I'm at now by creating this other region for me, and just went there and started cold calling people and started getting people to come to first meetings and trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And now it's been almost 20 years later. I actually almost don't believe that I've been involved for 20 or more years. The only reason I know that is the year that I started my region was the year my daughter was born. So the fact that I would stay with anything, never mind this organization, for 20 years means there's really something to this. Because I'm the type of, if I'm not enjoying something, I believe life is too short to do things you don't enjoy. So the reality is if I'm not doing something, move on to something else, change what you're doing. When I got involved, BNI was only in the United States, and it was in about 30 or 35 states. And then I saw it going to Canada, and then the UK, and then start to expand around the world. So to see it go from only in the United States to now in basically 60 countries and growing is pretty amazing. The people that are in BNI are some of the best people I've ever met in my life, both at a member level and at a director level, because they're people who believe in this giver's gain, who believe in helping other people. BNI is that right crowd. It's the adult right crowd. It's people who are very positive, people who believe in helping other people who believe that we can accomplish great things, and people who believe in giver's gain, that basically, you do well by helping others do well. And I think if we all do that, if we all adapt that philosophy, it really makes a big difference, right? Right now, at 30 years, we have about 170,000 members. The reality is if we go 10 more years, we're probably going to go tenfold that. I believe in 10, 15, 20 years, BNI is going to be the way that small business is done around the world. It's going to give opportunity to small business people they never thought they had before, because now all of a sudden they have this incredible opportunity through our online network and our personal network that they're going to be able to do business as they never imagined before. So it's pretty amazing.